Chess has become a way of life for these avid players. The 4th annual Francis Cordisco Memorial Chess Championship drew about a dozen men from across the state this weekend to compete for a $1,000 prize. Competitors say although it doesn't sound or look like much is going on when you're watching, they say the players are actually burning calories from thinking so hard and are also learning skills that will help them succeed outside of this weekend's tournament.
It helps you with your concentration, it helps you make decisions, and it helps you to realize that actions have consequences, both good and bad.
Chess in the grammar schools is what really should happen a lot more. And it engages the mind in ways differently than, say, computer games.
Cordisco's Corner Store hosts monthly tournaments. There will be another.
Well, folks, another great tournament. The 2015 Tradewise Gibraltar Chess Festival being played in Gibraltar. Unbelievable scenery. Gibraltar is an amazing place, amazing place. World-class players, one of the top-rated opens in the world. Karl Nakamura, Topalov, ex-world champion, Huey Fan, you name it, they're there. Oh, a whole lot of English players, you name it, they're all over the world. And they all come here to Gibraltar once a year for the Gibraltar Chess Festival 2015. From January 26th to February 15th, 2015. Don't miss any of these great games. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Another game from round 2 of the Gibraltar Chess Festival 2015. This is from the Masters section. As white, my buddy from the United States, Karl Nakamura. I like a Karl a lot. He hasn't played in a little while. I think he's just taking a rest. I know he's engaged. He's got a new, well, I shouldn't say new girlfriend, new fiance. So I think he's spending some quality time and living his life. Good for him. Karl is white and black is, see if I can butcher this name, Dronal Ali, something like that. Harika is the last name. So we'll just say Nakamura is white and Harika is black. Let's get to it. It's going to be a Queen's Indian. You just haven't seen this in a while. Pawn, castles, d4, and the pawn the b6 indicating the Queen's Indian. Bishop d3, if you can kettle the bishop, white castles. Computer's on off screen, it's basically an even game. c5, knight comes up for Karl. Harika plays knight c6. If I'm not mistaken, it's a young lady that's playing black. She's from India, I believe. Just doing some checking online earlier, and by a weird coincidence, in round 1 of this tournament, when I showed a Karl Nakamura's game, it was Richard Rapport's girlfriend. Richard's from Hungary. He's a great player. Exciting one, too. Rook c1, c8, a3, Rook e8, Rook e1. Just to add a note, I think Karl Nakamura's girlfriend's also a decent player too. She's from Italy. So that's kind of cool. A lot of these guys end up with chess players. Pretty awesome. Bishop f8. So that tells right off that he wants to move to e5. He's just getting the bishop out of the way. He wants to come up and break this up. D takes. Karl strikes first. C takes, E takes, Queen C2. Interesting. I mean, where else are you going to put the queen? Can't really put it on E2, so that's the best choice. Consider the choices he had. H6. Just to avoid him taking the pawn. That check doesn't really do any good anyway, so Queen to b1, he's backing off that file. He wants the Queen Bishop tandem there, but he also wants to open up the C file, and that's the best way to do it. Knight to d7. This one I don't understand. It's also the computer move. Bishop checks. King h8. Then bishop f5. The only thing I can think of is this pawn isn't guarded anymore for later down the road. And also, it's a really nasty pin right there. Rook to b8. He moves the rook right immediately. Queen to a1. Now he goes the other tandem. Now he goes this bishop. The power of the bishops, folks. Queen e7. Computer thought king should go back to g8. b4. Here we go. C takes, A takes. Computer likes a6, bishop a8. Now I know I watched the tournament live, and it doesn't list the scenario here, but it's very bad for black if knight takes this pawn. Now I haven't tried to analyze that portion of it too much, but it's bad. It's really bad for black, so that's why she didn't take it and went a6 instead. And then the knight to b3. Move the other knight up. Now what are you going to do? You got to move that knight. Where are you going to move it to? So he has to take it. Knight takes. Knight c5. That's a good spot for that knight. Now, interesting enough, find a move for black here, and I'm really surprised on the move that she made. Knight f3 check. That one I don't get. I know it busts up the pawns, but to sacrifice a whole piece, I don't know. Computer liked instead knight to c4, and then after bishop d4, queen g5. A little bit better for black, but nearly as bad as what happened. After g takes, queen checks, bishop comes back. She gets the piece back, but I don't think it was worth all the hassle. Knight takes, rook takes, queen takes, pawn takes, f4. In a lot of ways, this black pawn is shielding the white king. Interesting. Very interesting. Those of you that are wondering what would have happened if queen had taken the rook. Pawn takes check, king, and mate. That rook wasn't free. After f4, queen e7, b5. Carl starts pushing that pawn. Now if you remember from round one, he had a passed a pawn, he was black. Gets these outside passes that Carl does. Now he is a pawn up. So we'll see how she handles this. Queen at d7. Just keeps going with his pawn. Bishop b4. Moves the rook. Rook e6. Now he's hitting that pawn several times. Of course, bishop just guards. That's a good spot for that bishop too. Rook h6. Figure maybe he'll get some counterplay. What he's thinking maybe is pawn moves, and if pawn takes, queen comes here. Queen a8, check. King moves. Rook c8. Here we go. Now, let's go back a couple of moves here. Give you an idea. After bishop to d4 is about a 2.5 point advantage, a little higher for white. After rook h6, queen e8, king h7, rook c8, it's over a 5 point advantage, coming up on 6 points. As we all know, that's more than a rook. In essence, this game is over. Let's see how Carl finishes it off. King g6. Now the computer said if you went f6 instead, it really doesn't change much. Because after rook, bishop, rook, takes, 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 queen, takes, takes. Got a queen for a rook. Game's over. After king to g6, oh, excuse me, queen a8 check, king h7, rook c8, now king to g6. King's trying to escape, but I don't think he's going to run out of room here. Rook g8, rook h7, queen c8, queen goes to e7. Computer like queen takes c8, the only chance to get some counterplay. and then bishop, but black is still doomed. After queen e7, queen takes g4 check. And that's it. The young lady throws in the towel. So that's 2 in a row. Excuse me, 2 in a row for my buddy Hikaru. He's on a tear. I know Topolov drew today, I heard, in a wild game. So he's, of the top players, he's doing very well. 2 in a row. Even Svindler, Peter Svindler drew today. Give you an idea what will happen after the queen takes the pawn. King, bishop checks, rook takes, queen takes, king h5, rook mates. So well done by Hikaru. Now I hope some of these top players, because it's an open tournament, there's a almost 300-point rating difference in this game. And you'll get that in an open tournament. But as things start to tighten up, I hope these, I should say weaker players, but they're not weak players, they're just weaker than the top players. This young lady's almost 2,500. You gotta be kidding, right? But for those guys, it's fairly weak. So let's hope they don't get caught too much in that syndrome where you play like your opponent because they're weak. You don't play your A game. But I'm sure Hikaru's more than smart enough to know that. Anyway, folks, that's another game from round 2. I want to personally thank all my new subscribers and the many, many views I've gotten the last couple of months. Thank you very much. I personally appreciate it. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.